Okay guys, this is what Deku had a puppet quirk. So yeah, I'm doing this way earlier in the day because everyone just left. So yeah, I don't do it because there are people here, like always. And I just asked my grandpa to stay out of the same room. So yeah, I'm just going to start the video now. Well, let's see. Deku's going to basically be, going for being a hero because nothing bad's actually happened to him. And if anything bad even happened to him, like a hero killed his mom or something like that, well, I wouldn't say that would have actually happened because he has a puppet quirk. So if that did happen, he's able to control their quirk and, them. So nothing bad could reasonably happen unless, I don't know, a parasitic villain ended up going into his mom's bloodstream and infecting her with a cancer that is incurable permanently. So, yeah. And he would be way more lenient to go to the hero side. And you guys really, really wanted him to be a hero. I mean, it was god close to a 50-50 split. So, if it was a 50-50 split, seriously, I was planning on just doing villain. But since it was like a 40 and 55 split, I would usually make him like a vigilante or something like that. But nope, not going to do that. So, let's see. Deku is going to be raised to be, really good and not to let things go to his head. He's basically going to be able to do all the things he wants, but he's just going to be raised to believe that he has a weak quirk. So he'll basically think that he's a pretty weak quirk. Bakugo is going to say, that you have a weak quirk apparently? You're just saying you have a weak quirk. Or something like that. So Bakugo's going to believe him and basically bully him because he has a weak quirk. And one day he basically snaps and goes into his, I'm going to say that he's going to develop a multiple personality disorder. That makes his quirk, stronger or weaker. So, yep, I'm going down that route. If you've never seen that route, you can kind of feel where I'm going with this. It's basically going to be like TKO. And if you don't remember, if you haven't watched, KO, the series, just, do it. It's pretty cool. Well, it's lame. But, I'm going to say that he basically gains all of his Puppet Master abilities. And basically, does, like, he just is controlling Bakugo and making Bakugo, like, blow up like a building. Like, Deku is evil when he goes into that form. And he actually gains, like, this little mask. You can see where we're going with this. Shut up, Kid Broly Black. Sorry, he just got in for a second. But, yeah. You guys can see where we're going with this. Well, Deku's basically going to... People are really going to consider him a villain because of the situation. Since, Bakugo was bullying... But since Bakugo was bullying him, he ended up gaining a multiple personality disorder. Where, he basically... it's basically one that protects him. So, yeah. He's basically going to kill... No, he's basically going to take things to the extreme. Like, I don't know. He's basically... If Deku's going to just make Bakugo do a small explosion, Deku basically will make Bakugo do the largest explosion he can and, like, blow off one of Bakugo's hands. So, yeah. Imagine it like that. So, yeah. You know how the biggest explosion Bakugo can do harms him? Well, Deku can do it without harming, Bakugo, if he chooses to. Because the puppet string is basically, if Deku chooses to, can basically harden itself. So, yeah. It's basically going to be like a really hard material if he chooses to. Like as hard as diamond, and it's flexible like string. So it basically can go wrapped up. It can wrap itself up, so it basically gets tougher and more, what's the word? Basically, it doesn't restrict movement. So, yeah. It's kind of hard for me to come up with these things on the spot. But, yeah, Deku's quirk is pretty OP, but Deku doesn't think it's OP. He thinks it's a pretty weak quirk. So, yeah. So, Deku's basically just going to be making these, like, stone golems with, his strings to fight, I'm going to say, later on. So, let's actually get into the story. I've just been listing off what he can do with his quirk. So, yeah. Let's just skip to the slime villain attack. Deku's basically walking home from the shortcut. Oh, and Bakugo's not going to bully him one bit anymore because of Deku. Yeah, that's the best I can come up with. So, yeah. Deku's basically going to be walking home, and basically, when the slime villain tries to attack him, Deku's just going to put his strings out. I'm going to say that he has, like, strings around him at all times, where, they're invisible, so no one can actually see them. So when Deku, puts them through the slime villain to control, the slime villain, it basically works because, well, it's not physical, it's nothing, basically. It's basically as physical as the air, but it's as strong as diamond and flexible as string, so, yeah. It's basically a really OP quirk. So if, Deku basically wraps the string around him, he basically can get a diamond shield. So, yeah. Yep. He has a really OP quirk. So, Deku's basically going to control the slime villain so it can't harm him. And the slime villain's going to say, "What are you doing to me?" Yeah. And Deku basically says, "You're under my control." And basically, the slime villain is under his control completely. And once All Might comes, he's basically asking, "What did you do to the slime villain?" And Deku basically says, "He's under my control now, so he can't harm me or anyone." And then Deku basically says, "If you want the slime villain, just here's a, plastic bottle I was drinking earlier of coffee." Yeah, I'm just going to make Deku, really mature in every way now. So, yeah. And All Might basically accepts that and puts a slime villain in there and jumps off. I'm going to say that the bottle doesn't, fall out or anything. Oh, and Deku's really not excited to see All Might because he's not a fan of All Might in this wave. Because, he's just never been a fan of him. He wished he could control All Might, but he doesn't want to control him at the same time. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, if you didn't hear in the last one, the whole world's his puppet stage. So, yeah. Deku's basically just going to be he could have been a insanely OP villain. Like a god among villains. So, yeah. And he can get a lot of intel from villains, too. Because he can, basically, make them talk. I'm not going to say, well, yeah, I'll actually say how. He basically puts a string in their brain to force them to speak, secrets. So, yeah. Deku's going to basically be a great hero slash villain. Like, he could be an immense villain. I wish you guys I wish you guys wanted villain more than hero. Oh, yeah. Deku's basically going to, basically, well, I'm going to say that Deku's going to go to this place, and he finds a letter of recommendation to UA. I'm going to say Principal Nezu basically comes to his place himself and says, you have a recommendation letter to UA, So Deku's basically going to say, I'll accept it, and I'll also take your test. And Deku basically does that, and basically, well, he's going to be running to, no, he's just going to be going to the exam anyways, so he's basically going to take over a robot and basically start riding it and basically blow up other robots. And once he sees the 0-pointer, he says, oh, I'm taking that robot over. And then he jumps on top of... He's going to use some strings to jump on top of it, like levitate himself on top of it. So, yeah, he's able to do that with the strings, too. And then Deku basically, says, I'm your puppet master now, or something like that. And basically, he's going to, I am actually doing a hero and villain version of this. So, yeah, if you guys want me to do a villain version of this, I am. I'm just planning on doing that now. I really wanted the villain version more than the hero version. If you guys wanted the villain version more, there was no chance of a hero version even popping up. But since you wanted the, hero version more, I'm just doing the villain version anyways, after this. So yeah, Deku's basically going to, he's just going to, he's just going to, get control over the 0-pointer and start blowing start blowing all the robots up with it. And he basically, once he sees Araka's in the way, he basically, levitates the, rebel up with his strings and tells her to get out of his way. And basically, he basically brings her up to him and basically sets her free, so she basically, can, have a breather, So, Deku's going to have a Omega level quirk in this world. And Deku's basically going to, annihilate all the other robots and stuff like that. And, the first day of school, he's going to be the first one at the school, drinking some coffee before class, and Ida basically says that he's going to, you're not supposed to drink in class. And Deku basically says it's coffee. Just be calm about it. And basically, Deku's basically just going to be drinking some coffee. And then Aizawa basically says, settle down, class. And they all do. And he basically explains the sport, ball throw and stuff like that. Deku's going to have to do it anyways. Deku basically uses one of his strings, throws the ball up in there, uses one of his strings, and basically brings it up to space, and it puts infinity. So, yeah. And Aizawa basically asks him what his quirk is. And Deku basically says, my quirk's Puppet Master. And Aizawa says, what does your quirk do? It basically allows me to have these invisible strings that allow me to control someone's actions or make them say, yeah, the truth. So, yeah, he basically has a really OP quirk. Oh, and they also can go through buildings and stuff like that, and they're as sharp as piano wire. So they can slice through, buildings, and they're also as tough as a diamond. So basically, everyone's going to be shocked on how powerful his quirk is. And then Aizawa asks, what is your quirk's weakness? Well, I only can control things on the planet Earth, or maybe just in an atmosphered environment. So, Aizawa asks, is there a weakness to your quirk? And Deku says, I don't know. I've never experienced any weaknesses. I mean, I can not even control people that don't have a physical form, like a sludge monster. So, yeah. Deku's basically going to say that he can basically do anything with his quirk. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Handjob would hate him because of his quirk. Because, you know how games usually work? There's usually a puppet. There can be a puppet master in the game. Like the biggest boss. So, yeah, imagine Deku as the biggest boss. Yeah. Let's see. And basically, Deku's going to get first place on everything. He's going to get light speed on the, running exam, the running thing, because, his strings can move faster than the speed of light. And Deku can move faster than the speed of light. Well, no. Well, if he's running, he can move faster than the speed of light with his strings. So, yeah. Deku's able to fly with his strings. So, the jumping exam gets straight up first place. He gets infinity on that. On the strength test, he basically condenses the strings into diamond. And basically, pulls on them. So it basically, he basically makes them pull. So he gets first place on that too. He basically breaks the machine, period. And, isn't that all of them? I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Oh, the side-to-side lunges. He basically gets infinity on that because he basically jumps from that side of the world, ends up in, I don't know, New York, and then jumps straight back and jumps again to Arbordale. Well, I don't know. Jumps to California. So, yeah, he basically jumps in the United States each time, back and forth, and he's doing that at light speed. Because of his strings, yeah. He also can create walls with his strings. I'm going to say that, too. He can control his strings. So, yeah. Deku's going to have a OP quirk from the start. So, Deku's basically, Deku's basically going to run and jump from, I'm going to say that Deku's basically in that, fighting thing. Say matchup. And Deku's basically going to, he's going to, I don't know. Deku's going to get first place because of his strings. He's just going to pull the bomb out of the building and touch it. Like, that's going to be a 5-second match. And it'll say the villain team's lost. In, the first 5 seconds. How long have I been recording for? Oh, only 19 minutes? That's been longer. Well, Deku's basically going to get first place on everything. And I'm just going to skip to the USJ. I'm going to say that Deku and Aizawa have been getting along because Deku really has no weakness to his quirk, and Aizawa has been asking if he still can use his quirk if Aizawa can use his quirk on Deku. So yeah, Deku basically tries it out, and Aizawa basically realizes that he can't get rid of his strings. And Deku basically says, my strings are out all the time. They're everywhere. They're basically made out of the air, too. So Deku's basically, showing off because his strings are literally everywhere. He can't unsummon them. They're just literally everywhere. He has no tough time moving or anything. They're basically as thin as air, but he can basically make them as hard as diamond. So, yeah. Deku's going to have a OP quirk from the start. The USJ, basically, when that happens, Deku's going to basically ask Aizawa if, he can go all out. And Aizawa says, sure, you can go all out. And Deku does a grin. And then basically says, okay, Deku, you can come out now. And basically he gets this little bit of a mask starting to form out of his strings, and basically all the villains are starting to get a little bit of fear because of how much bloodlust he has. Like, imagine the power level of the Destroyer God from Dragon Ball Z. Beerus the Destroyer. Imagine his power level, and then times that by 10, and that's Deku's Bloodlust. Well, Deku's Bloodlust. So, yeah, he has a humongous Bloodlust. And basically all the villains are just passing out because of how much bloodlust there is. And then Deku's basically using his strings to make the villains, come back up. And he's controlling them and basically shooting their quirks all at the Nomu, and the Nomu's also passed out. Well, no, the Nomu would be passed out. So Deku basically takes that opportunity to give the Nomu a, what's the word? Lobotomy? Yeah, basically give the Nomu a lobotomy and cut his brainstem with with his strings. Yeah. And Kirishiri, I'm pretty sure his name is, basically says, let's get out of here. And basically the portal villain takes hand job out of there. So yeah, that's going to be really funny later on. And Deku's basically T-Deku's basically laughing, and basically he tells them, all the villains, to go into jail and go into a jail cell. So yeah. And then T-Deku basically pops back into Deku. So, yeah. This is where I'm going to be ending the video from now. And see you guys later. Peace.